If Russia were to face off against NATO, who would win? Could Russia take on the entire US-led alliance, or would NATO quickly overwhelm Russia? With tensions rising between Russia and the West, this is no longer just a hypothetical question. Let's break down the military strength of both sides and see if Russia truly stands a chance against NATO. First, let's look at the numbers. Russia has about 1.3 million active troops and over 2 million reservists. NATO, led by the United States, has over 3.3 million active troops and millions more in reserve. Defense budget: Russia spends around $100 billion per year, while NATO spends over $1.2 trillion. The US alone contributes over $800 billion, which is 8 times Russia's budget. In modern warfare, whoever controls the skies has a major advantage, and in this case, the US and NATO would likely dominate Russian airspace. If war breaks out, US and NATO air power will be a key advantage. NATO has over 20,000 aircraft, while Russia has only around 4,500. The US and NATO also control some of the world's best air defense systems, including the Patriot and THAAD, which can intercept Russian missiles. In modern warfare, whoever controls the skies has a major advantage, and in this case, the US and NATO would likely dominate Russian airspace. At sea, Russia also faces a huge disadvantage. The US has 11 nuclear-powered aircraft carriers, while Russia has just one, the Admiral Kuznetsov, which is often plagued with mechanical issues. NATO has over 2,000 warships, including destroyers, nuclear-powered submarines, and aircraft carriers. Russia, by comparison, has only about 300 warships. The US Navy can project power anywhere in the world, giving NATO a major strategic advantage. If war breaks out, US and NATO naval forces could blockade Russia and cut off vital supply routes. Russia may be weaker in the air and at sea, but what about ground forces? Russia has around 12,000 tanks, including the T-90M and T-14 Armada. NATO has over 14,000 tanks, including the US M1 Abrams, Germany's Leopard 2, and the UK's Challenger 2. Although Russia has a large number of tanks, NATO's tanks are technologically superior. Additionally, US-made Javelin anti-tank missiles have already proven highly effective against Russian tanks in Ukraine. If Russia wants to win a ground war, it must strike quickly before NATO reinforcements arrive from the US and Western Europe. However, with NATO's superior logistics and supply chains, this would be extremely difficult. Russia does have one major wildcard: its nuclear arsenal. Russia possesses over 6,000 nuclear warheads, the largest arsenal in the world. The US and NATO also have over 6,000 nuclear warheads, with the capability to launch from submarines, bombers, and intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBMs. If Russia were to use nuclear weapons, the US and NATO would retaliate, leading to global destruction. This is why neither Russia nor NATO wants to escalate to nuclear war. So, if war were to break out, could Russia defeat NATO? In a long-term war, the US and NATO could use their economic and technological superiority to wear down Russia. If Russia strikes quickly and gains an early advantage, it could inflict significant damage, but a lasting victory is unlikely. While Russia's nuclear arsenal is powerful, using it would lead to total destruction for both sides. Ultimately, in a conventional war, the US and NATO have an overwhelming advantage. However, nuclear deterrence makes a full-scale war very unlikely. Russia may be able to cause significant damage to NATO, but defeating the entire US-led alliance is nearly impossible. However, conflicts could still arise in regions like Ukraine, the Baltic states, or the Black Sea. What do you think? Could Russia ever defeat NATO in a full-scale war? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more military analysis.